Everyone listens to me carefully. When I was a young man, I watched my father work 2 jobs and still struggle to put food on the table. We lived in a small, creaking house with a leaking roof. And I remember one night lying awake, rain tapping through the ceiling onto a bucket beside my bed. I turned to my father and asked, "Why do we live like this?" And he said, "Because I never had a plan, I just survived." Those words never left me. You see, most people don't fail in life because they're not smart enough, talented enough, or even hardworking enough. They fail because they never had a clear direction. They wake up each day reacting to life instead of constructing it. They wish, they hope, they fantasize, but they don't plan. A dream without a plan is a prison. It locks your potential inside your imagination and robs the world of what only you can give. Every successful person you admire didn't arrive there by accident. They mapped their way forward. They didn't wait for opportunities. They created them with strategy, focus, and intention. They built bridges from where they were to where they wanted to be. What you don't plan, you give the chance. And chance is a dangerous thing to trust with your future. Imagine your dream like a city, shining, full of life, waiting for you. But between you and that city is a jungle. Now, you can't just walk through it blindly and expect to make it out alive. You need a machete, you need a map, you need a step-by-step plan to get through the vines of doubt, the swamps of fear, and the cliffs of failure. And that plan, that's your responsibility. Not your parents, not your teachers, not your bosses. Yours. There's something quietly dangerous about having a dream, because it gives you just enough hope to feel inspired, but if you're not careful, not enough action to make it real. That's where most people live, somewhere between desire and disappointment. They carry around beautiful dreams in their hearts like a photo in a wallet, precious, personal, untouched. But here's the brutal truth. A dream without a plan is just a fantasy. And fantasies feel good, but they don't feed you, they don't build anything, and they certainly don't change your life. When you were younger, someone probably told you that you could be anything. Maybe you believed it for a while. Maybe you saw yourself on stages, in boardrooms, building empires, writing books, traveling the world. But what happened? Life happened. Bills, fear, distractions. And suddenly that dream that used to burn so brightly started flickering in the background while you focused on survival. See, the problem isn't that people stop dreaming, it's that they never shift from dreaming to designing. They confuse passion with a plan. They think wanting something deeply is enough to bring it to life. But the universe doesn't respond to desire, it responds to direction. You can have the most beautiful vision for your life, but if it only lives in your mind, it dies there too. Think of it this way. If you wanted to build a house, would you just grab a hammer and start pounding nails into wood? Of course not. You'd need blueprints, measurements, materials, a team. You'd need a plan, because building something solid and lasting takes more than emotion, it takes execution. And yet, when it comes to the most important project of all, your life, people move forward without any blueprint at all. Here's what happens when you don't have a plan. You drift. You let circumstances decide for you. One day becomes another, then a week, then a year, and before you know it, you're far from where you thought you'd be, not because you failed, but because you never charted the course. Life took you somewhere, but not where you truly wanted to go. There's a haunting kind of regret that comes not from losing, but from never trying with intention. From knowing deep down you had more in you, but never made a move to pull it out. That pain doesn't shout, it whispers. It shows up when you're alone, when you see someone doing what you once dreamed of, when you realize time didn't wait. But here's the beauty in all of this. No matter how long you've been drifting, no matter how unclear the road looks ahead, you can start planning today. You can start drawing the lines of your future, piece by piece. Your dream is not impossible. It's just waiting for you to build a path to it. You don't need to know everything right now. You just need to stop leaving your future to chance. Because if you don't make a plan for your life, someone else will. And they'll use your time, your energy, and your talent to build their dream, not yours. Once you accept that a dream without a plan is just a fantasy, the next truth you must face is this: you cannot plan what you haven't made clear. You can't build what you haven't defined. And that's where most people get stuck. They say they want success, happiness, freedom, but they haven't sat down to decide what that actually looks like. It's like setting out on a journey and telling someone, I want to go somewhere amazing, but when they ask where, you just shrug. So you drive around in circles, hoping the road itself will eventually decide for you. But the road doesn't owe you direction. Clarity is not something life hands you. It's something you extract through reflection, vision, and decision. The clarity is power. When your vision is vague, your life becomes chaotic. But when your vision is sharp, your actions become surgical. People waste years chasing everything because they're afraid to commit to something. They don't want to choose a direction because that means cutting off other options. But every plan, every achievement, every breakthrough begins the moment you say, this is what I want. This is what I'm building. You have to define the details of your dream like an architect sketches every corner of a building. What does your ideal life feel like when you wake up? Where are you? Who's around you? What does your work look like? What does success look like? Not through someone else's lens, but your own. This isn't just about goals on a vision board. It's about being intentional with your energy. Because without clarity, your talents get scattered, your time gets wasted, you say yes to the wrong things, you give attention to people, opportunities, and habits that don't move you forward, and then you wonder why you're exhausted and unfulfilled. When your vision is clear, your plan has direction. You stop chasing what's popular and start building what's purposeful. You stop comparing your path to others because you finally understand your own. That's when your time becomes more than time, it becomes investment. Your decisions become more than guesses. They become strategy. Have you ever noticed how the most focused people seem calm, even when everything around them is noisy? It's because they're not reacting, they're executing. They don't jump at every opportunity. They're not chasing approval. They have a roadmap. They know what fits and what doesn't. That kind of peace comes from clarity. And it's not something you stumble into, it's something you create. You take time to sit with yourself. You strip away distractions. You silence the noise and ask the harder questions. What do I really want? What do I no longer want? What matters to me, not 10 years ago, not to my family or friends, but right now, today? The answers to those questions become the foundation of your plan. Because until your vision is clear, your plan will remain blurry. You can't execute what you can't articulate. You can't build what you haven't imagined with precision, and you certainly can't win a race you haven't even defined. It's not enough to have a dream. You must make it so clear, so specific, so vivid in your mind that every step you take feels like walking towards something you've already seen. Once your dream is clear and your vision is defined, the next truth becomes impossible to ignore. Success is not accidental, it's strategic. Nothing great just happens. No one stumbles into excellence. The people you admire, the lives that inspire you, the achievements that seem out of reach, they're not products of luck. They are results of deliberate, intentional design. But we have been conditioned to admire the outcome more than the process. We see the finished product, the house, the career, the lifestyle, and call it success. What we don't see are the thousands of tiny, unglamorous decisions that built it. The planning, the structure, the sacrifices. We assume those people must have had a break or connections or some special advantage. But if you could peel back the curtain, you'd find a strategy underneath it all. The truth is, strategy beats talent when talent lacks structure. You can be gifted and still fail if you don't know where to place your energy. You can be passionate and still go nowhere if your steps aren't aligned. A dream, no matter how powerful, without strategy, becomes a cycle of frustration because you keep trying hard without getting far. An effort without aim is just exhaustion. That's why you need more than motivation. You need method. You need to understand that every move you make should serve the bigger picture. Every habit, every relationship, every decision should be aligned with where you're going, not just how you feel today. Because feelings fluctuate. Life throws curveballs. But strategy, that's your anchor. Think about a chessboard. Success in life is not like checkers, it's chess. Every move must be thought out in advance. It's not just about reacting, it's about anticipating. It's about asking, if I do this now, how does it impact 3 steps from now? That's how successful people think. They don't just act, they align, they calculate, they execute with foresight. They understand that a goal without a strategy is just a wish. It feels good to set goals, write them down, post them on the wall, but goals are just destinations. Strategy is how you get there. You wouldn't start a journey without knowing the turns, the stops, the fuel you need. So why do that with your future? This is why so many people burn out. It's not always because they're lazy. Often it's because they're overwhelmed. And they're overwhelmed because they're unstructured. They wake up with ambition but no plan of attack. So they chase urgency instead of progress. They confuse being busy with being effective. When you start living strategically, your days become more than a to-do list. They become building blocks. You begin to manage your time like a builder handles bricks. Deliberate, careful, intentional. You stop trying to do everything and you start focusing on what actually moves the needle. That's not just smart, it's necessary. And here's the beauty. You don't need to have it all figured out at once. You just need to start thinking differently. Begin treating your dream like a project. Break it down, create systems, make timelines, track progress, adjust when necessary. Because if you don't control your plan, chaos will. And chaos will never carry you to your dream. It'll only distract you from it. When the dream is clear, the plan is sharp, and your strategy is in motion, there's still one more truth you must embrace. You are the architect of your own future. Not your past, not your environment, not your circumstances. You. And until you take ownership of that truth, you'll always wait for permission, wait for someone to notice you, wait for the perfect moment, the right connection, the green light that never seems to come. But let's be honest. No one's coming to build it for you. No one's handing out finished futures. This life you want, it's not on back order. It's not waiting in the wings. It's waiting on you. You see, some people keep standing in front of a locked door, holding no key, but hoping it opens, just because they want it to. But your dream won't unlock itself. It requires your hands, your discipline, your blueprint. And here's the part no one tells you. You don't need to know everything before you start. You just need to take responsibility. That's what separates dreamers from doers. Look at any building, any structure of value. It didn't show up out of thin air. Someone imagined it, then owned the process of creating it. They didn't blame the weather or the soil or the lack of perfect materials. They built anyway. That's what architects do. They see what doesn't exist, then take action to bring it into reality. So let me ask you, are you waiting for life to build something for you, or are you ready to build it yourself? Because as long as your future is someone else's responsibility, your power is in their hands. And that's a dangerous place to leave it. You have the tools, maybe not all of them yet, but enough to begin. You have the ability to decide what your days look like, what your habits shape, what your boundaries protect, and what your mind believes. And that's not luck, that's leadership. And it starts with leading yourself. Don't underestimate the authority you carry over your own life. Every day you're laying bricks, whether you realize it or not. Every decision is either building your dream or dismantling it. The question is, are you building on purpose or by accident? Too many people live in reaction. They bounce from one thing to the next, hoping something sticks. But architects don't guess, they design. They start with the end in mind. They decide what to create, then reverse engineer the process. That's the kind of intentionality your life needs if you're serious about reaching the future you keep picturing. Of course, it's not easy. Of course, it takes time. But you know what's harder? Living a life that doesn't reflect your potential. Settling for routines that numb your spirit. Silencing dreams because you are afraid to own the responsibility that comes with them. There's a version of you, focused, disciplined, creative, strategic, that's already inside. It's something you need to go find. It's something you need to unlock. And the key? It's in your decisions. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. So here you are, standing at the edge of your potential, no longer just a dreamer, but a designer. No longer waiting for the perfect conditions, the approval, the miracle. Because now you know the truth. Your dream is possible, but only if you make it real, only if you own it. With clarity, with strategy, with relentless commitment. You don't need permission to begin. You don't need perfection to take the first step. What you need is courage. The courage to plan, to act, to stay consistent, even when the progress feels invisible. Because brick by brick, day by day, you're not just moving toward your dream, you're building it. And if you keep building, no matter how slow it feels, no matter how heavy the process becomes, eventually you'll look up and realize you're standing inside the very future you once only imagined. So don't just wish for it. Don't just talk about it, build it. Lay the blueprint. Carve the path. Make the decision today that your life will not be left to chance. It will be shaped by your vision, structured by your plan, and strengthened by your action. The architect of your future is not someone else. It's you. Good luck on your journey. Be bold, stay focused, and above all, never stop building. Thank you.